for a moment? I just want to welcome everybody, and I want to tell you, I apologize for the fact that there's only one hot rod here down below. That's Frank Maxey. Those folks from the other side of the Mississippi probably recognize that one as the winner of the first Motorama. So it's a special car to me, and it's really a barn find. It's never been restored, and it was one of Greg Baskerville's favorite cars, so it was a real special car to have in the collection. And I hate to say collection because I really think of myself more of an enthusiast than a collector, because every car out here, with the exception of the Belly Tank and the Pearson Coupe, and the dragster, of course, have been on the road, and we use them regularly. And the driving part is the sensational part for me.
Unfortunately, you didn't see the very beginning, but it should be pretty cool at some point. This was the first garage built in Beverly Hills, and it was called the Beverly Drive Garage, and people referred to it as the Beverly Hills Garage. And it was a parking structure, garage, service, you know, wonderful place in Beverly Hills. For years, I used it as a mail order fulfillment warehouse. Then I moved my office to that corner over there with the brick. I remember sandblasting the brick. Then we had our bookkeepers here, and my assistant Lynn, who's been with me for 37 years. This garage has been a lot of different things. When I took it over in 1968, it was a shoe warehouse and became Geary's. And then after we left, I rented it to Armani and to Ralph Lauren. And then we had Catherine Bauman, a purse maker here, and we used storage for Geary. So it's been a lot of different things, and it's going back to its roots now, becoming a garage again.
I believe, yeah, today is March the 22nd. I believe last time you guys were here was like about a month ago. We hadn't dug the footing for the pit for the elevator. We have now, but it's just going to take, I don't know, a couple of months to fabricate and install. The doors for the 3 entrances to the 3 different rooms, and the framing upstairs. The pit for the car lift is going to go right on this side of where we're standing right now. This is what's going to take the cars up to the 2nd floor and so forth.
This whole area is going to be at this, about this high, because I can pick out steps down to the area where the restrooms are going to go.
This is going to be our elevator. This is the elevator shaft. We're in the process of installing the elevator.
I knew that if it was someplace I had to travel to or any inconvenience, I would just not go there as often as I'd like. But at 70, I'll be 70 this year, I decided, you know what, I'm going to take care of Bruce on this one. So We scraped the place, we took out all the partitions, all the offices, everything, we scraped it. And kind of had this vision of doing a proper display area. I don't like to call it a museum because I don't think of myself as a collector. I think of myself as an enthusiast and, you know, just kind of buying what I like. My son and Evan, who's also a bit of an enthusiast, and I've laid this place out. In fact, he has done, you know, the heavy lifting on the design work.
One of the things that, you know, at one point we had talked about kind of keeping the building just kind of wide open. You know, a lot of buildings that we've, you know, my dad has friends that have these buildings, and, you know, you walk in and you can just see everything all at once, and it's just, you know, it's like almost overwhelming. So, you know, we wanted to kind of create this path through the space a little bit, you know, best we could without, you know, creating a maze.
Taking an upstairs space has its limitations, and one is the size of the cars and getting the cars up here. The original ramp, which would handle Duesenbergs to anything I have, is now a store, a toy store, and I don't want to disrupt Tom's Toys bringing cars up and out, you know, through all hours of the day. So we reverted to the automobile lift, and that took us on a journey all of its own, because there are lifts and then there are lifts.
So the truck just showed up with a lift, and I'm looking at this platform, and it's a lot wider than my door opening.
How wide is the platform? 125. 135.
Yeah, 135. It's not gonna fit. Yeah. We got about 2 inches of left. Once we bring that in here, so it should be okay.
Good morning, hi. My name is Gary Astrup. I'm Vice President of Operations Park Plus. We're based in New Jersey. We've just done some calculations, and the platform is in one piece, and the access door it looks a little bit tight, but I think we might be able to scrape it through by an inch or two. So the first step now is to mark the layout on in the space that we're going to erect the lift, and then we're going to start erecting each leg, each column by itself. Once we've got those in position, we'll then place the platform in position.
The name of the movie, The Saw 6. Huh? 125 and 3/4. Well, the tolerance is too tight on the platform, so it's not going to fit into the aperture. So we've had to trim 2 inches off the platform. So all that needs to be done now is cleaned and painted, and the platform's back to square one. I know it's late, but we're gonna go for it tonight and get it off the street and try and get in position.
And if we can achieve that, it was a good day's work.
We're about 3 or 4 months beyond what I thought would be a completion date, but it's been me that's delayed this thing because we've added sprinklers. We have a 3-phase lift instead of a single-phase lift. So all these things took weeks and months of time to complete. You need some finish line, otherwise this thing could go on forever, okay? And we'll be moving cars in on the 28th, and we should have the place looking pretty good by then. At the end of the day, I think we're gonna have a pretty cool deal. Car number 1, the first car in the museum. I think it might rain today, so we're kind of getting an early start. Thanks for being here. Getting empty in here. It'll be real empty soon. This will be car number 2. Fun begins. Number 2. We're having fun, right? Oh yeah. My pal Carpo. First floor, automobilia, race cars, and enthusiasts. Every time I drive this car, I think Clark sat right here on his hands on this wheel, on this seat, in this town. But I gotta remember, I'm not Clark Gable.
I'm Raylene Meyer, Bruce Meyer's wife. We've been married 41 years, and I have known to love the car hobby through Bruce. I really enjoyed cars when I was younger, but when I married Bruce, he was the one that really introduced me to all the cars. We have a wonderful garage at home that people were going to come, and they have seen, but he ran out of room. So this is Bruce's dream. He's always wanted to have his own museum. And I have over the years asked him, why don't you use the space behind your office? You have that fabulous space there. He said, I don't want to give up that area. But finally he, I think, reached a milestone. He's turned 70 and he thought, this is it. This is the time. If I'm ever going to do it, I'm going to do it now. He is like a kid in a candy store. He is just so thrilled about this new project that he has. And every day I get these emails and look at the progress, look at this, look at what we've done here. And he has a fabulous sign that he was so thrilled about, and he sent the email and he did like a little movie video of it. And I said, oh, that's so great. And he goes, well, it's great in the movie, but you can't wait to see it until it's in person. It's fantastic.
This is the best thing about this whole place. I think and there was light. Is that cool or what? That is cool.
So I love Bruce's enthusiasm, and he really, as I said, he loves cars. I'm sure you've heard the story that his mother wrote in his book, his baby book, that when he was 2 years old, Bruce seems to love anything with wheels. And that's true. He loves anything with wheels.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message. Now, back to our show.
Our first date, he invited me out to dinner, but he said, oh, by the way, before we go out to dinner, I'm looking at this car that I want to buy. So we went and we looked at this car. He ended up buying it because when he was dating me, he was using his mother's car. He didn't even have a car of his own at that time. And he bought the car, and I should have known then, this is going to be a car family, and we are.
So we're focusing on the cars. Evan has a keen eye for architecture and design, so he's kept me honest in that regard. That's the car that's in that big mural. Le Mans is the Olympic Games, World Series, and Super Bowl of the automobile, as far as we're concerned. And we're fortunate to have 3 very famous cars that ran Le Mans, and we'll have that in our Le Mans gallery as such. And then off to the right is the 2D, which is the Pearson Brothers Coupe, a very important coupe in the history of hot rodding, probably the most important coupe in the history of hot rodding, because it brought coupes onto the dry lakes when everything was really roadsters, and they started a club called the Coupes, and it also went 150 miles an hour when no coupe or roadster had gone that fast up until that point, so it was streamlined. So that will be in place. And then we have the belly tank, which we'll have here on the March 1st event. And so that is really an objet d'art because it is famous and it's also very pleasing to the eye.
Hi, my name is Tony Thacker. I'm the Executive Director of the Wally Parks NHRA Motorsports Museum. And I'm so glad that Bruce has opened his own museum because now I can get rid of all of these cars, get them out from my insurance bill, and kind of stop having to worry about them. Yeah, so Bruce has been a great friend to the industry, great friend to myself, and supports our museum as well as the Peterson and all these other museums. So, you know, how could you not say yes when he wants his own cars back? In fact, he emailed me and he goes, I need the tank back. And I'm going, oh, I'm not quite ready to give it up yet, but got to. That's what it's all about. All right, well, this is the canopy off the car. Obviously, it's hand-formed Lexan. and we drag it around everywhere, but it's very delicate, and we always have to take it off the car to move the car because you can't steer it very easily. So let's go and put it on and finish it off. Okay, so you can imagine Alex climbing into this little narrow skinny cockpit in 1952. Somebody put in this canopy over the top of his head and saying, okay, 200 miles an hour, not really a seatbelt, not really a fire suit, not really much of a helmet. Go 200 miles an hour and don't get upside down.
This was a pretty aggressive structure for 1926 in Beverly Hills, and it was called the Beverly Hills Garage, and we're still calling it the Beverly Hills Garage. So we're just returning it to its roots, and for me, being 50 feet from my office chair, it is the perfect place for me to enjoy my passion, which is the automobile. This will have my books, my cars, lots of memories, and most important thing, my family and friends to enjoy it with. There is a responsibility to share them with others. So I've always felt that urge and that obligation and the pleasure of sharing my few collections, which I am just a caretaker for, you know. And as you get into your 70s, you realize that none of this goes with you, you know. You leave and it stays, okay? So this venue will give me the opportunity to share my treasures with treasured friends and family.
I love cars and architecture. I'd say those are my two passions. So I've always loved this space and seen the potential that this space has. And originally began to develop plans to convert this into creative office space. I think we got as far as almost developing plans, kind of ready to submit to the city. And then my dad's 70th birthday kind of came rolling around. He realized that this would be a spot that would be absolutely ideal for him. And we basically chucked those plans in the trash and began putting this together.
We've been working on this building on and off for a number of years. We first started this, must be 2005. We first started to look at the building not as a car museum at that point. We were then looking at it to figure out what could Bruce do with this building that was really being underutilized. And we've done a number of these projects. We do new buildings. We've done some very highly technical new buildings. But we also have done historic preservation and adaptive reuse. You see all the time, you see a building like his in Pasadena, which used to be a factory and now it's retail and a brew pub, or you see buildings down in downtown Los Angeles that started out as a biscuit factory and now they're living lofts. And so adaptive reuse is not, nothing foreign to me. We've done it before, but this is actually the first time where we've actually taken a building and turned it back to its original use. I mean, this is a parking garage that was built in the mid-20s, or early 20s, that had been used for anything but parking for decades and decades and decades. And now, of course, we're turning it back into a very special kind of parking garage, which is bringing it full circle, which is the first time I've ever done that. It's really kind of an ironic take on adaptive reuse.
Well, the layout of this loft is going to be for hospitality, and we're now in the hospitality lounge area. I hope you're enjoying lounging with me. And off to my left is going to be our kitchen. I want something about this proportions here. Okay. So you can put a buffet of food, you can put a bartender behind it. That's just, I know that's how I'm going to entertain.
Hi. I'm Bruce Canepa. Been friends with Bruce Meyer for 35 years. And I think for at least the last 10 years, one of the things Bruce and I do on miscellaneous weekends, since we spend about 15 of them a year doing stuff, is look at garages to put his cars. It's never come to the prior, and I did a new garage, then he got more excited, but still, it was always every time we got close to a garage, we looked at the Eddie Meyer garage, we looked at another building that Chip Connor had. We looked at all these buildings, and every time when he gets ready to pull the trigger, he buys another car. Every time. And I kept saying, you're not getting younger, and you better get a garage for your cars because you're out of space at home, and You got them in my place and Peterson Museum and NHRA Museum, and they're all over the place. And you know, just one car you can have your garage. You know, not even one car anymore. So finally one day we walk out of his office and we walk back here, and here's this parking garage, and he's, you know, and I knew about it, but he said, you know, I'm not using it. This is where we did our mail order, started our mail order business, and da da da. I go, what are you doing? You have the garage already. It's the best one in Beverly Hills.
And it started out with a full-blown kitchen and vents and stoves and warming ovens and so forth. And I started thinking about what I'm really going to use this for, and then I found out how expensive it was. Of course, the money part of this thing has gone out the door.
You know, see, this felt good to me. Okay. I mean, I'm trying to think. But this is people sitting in a bar here. Well, not necessarily sitting there. This is standing in a bar.
So we eliminated the stoves. We're doing a bar, a hospitality area, a sink and a refrigerator, that type of thing, and probably some type of microwave so I can, you know, nuke my top ramen when I entertain myself up here. So that'll be over here. That's the kitchen. This is the lounge area. And then over to my right is the boardroom for my board of directors. And I have a cute picture of my board of directors, which I brought over here about a month ago. And it was Ed Iskandarian and Alex Exidius and Dean Jeffries and Ed Pink and Sonny Balcaine. And I sent this out to my friends and said, this is my new board of directors, and everybody took it seriously, so now I'm taking it seriously. That's my new board of directors. So, okay, this guy here and I were both afflicted with the same mutant gene, the automobile gene.
It was in the neighborhood. Every home that had a male kid got infected by the car gene.
Yeah.
You know, every one of them.
It was our generation.
It was our generation, and it was cars, nothing but. And we did everything we could to promote our interest any way we could, including taking our parents' car out when they were gone and running around the neighborhood.
We're not going to talk about our misguided childhood.
No.
Because we did it all.
Yeah, we did. This is spectacular. It really is.
Different than our Hancock Park garage.
A little bit different in that those were wood frame, and you know, about this now they're all falling down. This is a solid concrete building, and God, it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Bruce, this is magnificent. It's about time.
Well, you know what?
It's about time you did this.
I was saying earlier, the only reason you do this is to share it with your pals.
Yeah, that's right. That's it.
Time to ride motorcycles. I do my best thinking about 2 to 3:30 in the mornings. And this was a 2:30 in the morning epiphany where I thought, you know what? I've got all these bikes at home. And more bikes coming, and I'm just addicted to these darn things. Where am I going to put them? So then I started thinking about, you know, hanging them from the ceiling, attaching them to the walls, and then this thing came about. And I could put 9 bikes on this wall, and if I want to, I could expand it over to this other wall, and I could probably put another 6 bikes here. And we're trying to figure a way to attach the bikes so that they don't keel over. The floor was like a no-brainer because it was already concrete. Bada bing, put a coating over it, and be done. Well, then we started to experiment with the coatings, and the coatings turned the original cement floor brown.
Bruce had contacted me through Jay Pinsky, the Pinsky family. I've done a series of floors for their showrooms. So we're over here. We're not going to do that polish process here. We're looking to do something kind of mild out. The concrete has kind of a tan tone to it because it's a little bit of older concrete. It doesn't have that nice of a tone to it. We're going to put a hint of gray in it. Our challenges are we have different pieces of concrete that are all going to take a stain a different way. We have gray concrete up there. And then we have hodgepodge pieces of concrete because we've done all this type of construction. We want to just kind of embrace that, celebrate the concrete surface, and just kind of go with it, go with the history of the floor. Maybe just gray it up a little bit, just to there, tint it, and then put some type of a sealer or epoxy or coating, hybrid epoxy. We're still in that determination, but no matter what, we're gonna have a cool looking concrete floor. It's a functional floor. You pull cars in and out on. You know, the real thing here is the cars. It's not about the floor, but to me, it's about the floor.
And we didn't want brown, so we now had to lay this Ardex flooring, which is another layer of concrete on it, which we made sure was gray. There you go. You know, we got ourselves a Beverly Hills floor. It wasn't supposed to be like this. This was going to be a bada bing, few months, few bucks, done. You know, it's been a year and a whole lot of bucks, but anyways, at my age, you know, you just turn up the burn rate, you know. If I don't do it, you know, my kids will do it in a different way. So I'm doing it this way, at least for my next few years.
Bruce, are these pretty rare?
Well, they're supposed to be very.
I mean, I'm not familiar. What is it?
That's a Ferrari.
Well, I know it's a Ferrari. I'm saying, give me the...
Oh, yeah, no, it's a short wheelbase Berlinetta. It's definitely Tom Berlinetta.
They can't be that rare. I just found one in a storage unit
No
like
way.
3 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah, I bought it for like $800. What'd you get for this?
A little more than that.
All right, yeah. Well, hey, listen, when you want to, Bruce, when you want to get out of your comfort zone here and think about becoming a full-time storage locker buyer, you know I'll take you in my way. Come on, come on. Make some real money. Hey, man, congratulations. Seriously.
think a 911 base car is a big car until you see it here, and it is ginormous. Big-time champion, right here. One.
I mean, just growing up, kind of sharing that passion has has been special. So growing up and going to the Pomona swap meets and and car shows and kind of being his his co-pilot, and then now that I mean, once I was old enough to drive, I guess some fun experience, fun memories was he taught me how to drive stick in a 1957 Corvette.
We've had a fun time as a family doing a lot of these things, and through the cars we have met the most fabulous, wonderful friends and people in our lives, and it's been a very rewarding hobby that he has had, if you want to call it a hobby. It's a passion. He loves it, and we do too.
Well, this concludes the perfect day. Getting all these fun, historic vehicles in one place is like a dream come true. And you can do it with a lot of help from your friends, a lot of praying, you know, that everything goes well, and it did. It was a great day for me, and hopefully the best is yet to come.